The Big Sky Conference released the academic all-conference list for the fall. Portland State, among 5 teams, had 44 academic all-conference honorees, and that's a pretty outstanding total. That's right. I can tell you more than half of the members of the women's soccer program, more than half of the members of the women's volleyball program were on the academic all-conference list, and when you consider those 2 programs won regular season titles, that's really outstanding that they're having such great accomplishment both on and off the field. So congratulations to all those student athletes. I will also mention the football program had 14 academic all-conference members, and I believe that is the most they've ever had since we've joined the Big Sky Conference. So they're doing very well also. Another announcement we mentioned last week, word has kind of gotten out on this. Football signing day is coming up on Wednesday, February 5th. And we wanted to remind you there is a signing day party at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse at 6 p.m. that evening. It is by reservation only, so please make your reservations if you intend to come. If you're here today and you want to make the reservation, you can see Robbie in the back when we're done. You can also check on govikes.com for information on that. But once again, it's a limited amount of seating, so make your reservations in advance for that, and it should be a very fun evening at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Also wanted to mention we are approaching 10,000 hot dogs consumed at the Stott Center. 10,000, and I can account for 3 of them, which is about right for me for a basketball season. My son has accounted for 3 of them on one night. But we're getting there, and it'll be interesting to see by the end of the season just how many of those go. Once again, all-you-can-eat food at the Stott Center has been a lot of fun and actually created a lot of interest. So we're very excited about that. Also, one other thing about the Stott Center, if you're at the game the other night, they had a halftime show with a bunch of big blow-up, I don't know if they were animals, what they were. They were very tall, and it was quite a show. People loved it. And it was called, they were the Superstars. And I thought it was quite a coincidence that David Hirsch, also a very tall gentleman, was nowhere to be seen that night. So I'm not sure he perhaps might have been one of those Superstars filling out one of those outfits. Tonight, I think it's Berserk tonight, isn't it? Is he tall as well? Okay, he's very tall, so let's keep our eye out. Let's see if you know, remember once upon a time people wondered if Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson were the same person, and we finally found out they were not. Well, we'll find out tonight if David is really, truly invested in these promotions he's bringing in. So let's look for him tonight at halftime, as well as Berserk. Moving right along, let's talk a little bit about women's basketball. They've been on the road for a while, and this week they are on the road again. Thursday at Northern Colorado, Saturday at North Dakota. It's a brutal road trip. The good news for Sherri Murrell and her team is they get to come home for 6 of their next 8 games beginning next week. Montana on February 6th will be the first one of those games. Right now, 3-5 in the Big Sky Conference women's basketball program. And let's listen to some words from Sherri Murrell.
Yeah, we just got back from a road trip in southern Utah, heading out for another road swing down in southern Utah. Came out, we've been having a problem with coming out strong, and we came out with a good, I believe an 8-2 run, and we're not managing our runs. We let them come back in, then we went up ahead, they came back in, and then we really let them come back in, and we were on an 18-point deficit, and then with 4 minutes to go, we're down 5. So they made a real big run. But what's happening right now is we're trying to make some major adjustments. We are getting beat up inside with Angela Misa being out for the season. She was a huge force, 10 points, 10 rebounds average in the middle. And so we're spreading our offense out, trying to make sure that we do that. But with that being said, on the defensive end, we're getting pounded inside. And so doing a lot of adjustments, trying to double inside, trying to make sure that every time a post catches, we have somebody on them. I think the kids are responding pretty well. We did a good job of defending the three-point shot. They were 1 for 14 for us, but they had 48 points in the paint, so that was really tough. But they're a good team. Southern Utah's a good team. Eastern Washington lost to them the next night. So, it's not an easy team, but we're looking forward to having them back home and try to get back to them. The next two teams that we have are Northern Colorado first. You talk about a brutal road trip. First of all, expense-wise, this trip, Northern Colorado and North Dakota, cost more than when we went to the Hawaii trip. So it is a very, very expensive trip for us. But it's one that we leave on Wednesday. The kids will be out of school all day Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We play them we play North Dakota after we'll fly into Denver. We'll drive 2 hours to Greeley, smell the cows and play a game, drive back to Denver, go to Northern Colorado or North Dakota, and then we play North Dakota on Saturday at 2 o'clock. And then United Airlines did a really nice thing to us. They canceled the flights coming out that night. So now we are having to stay the night, more expense, and then we fly out on Super Bowl Sunday at 2 o'clock the next day. So then we don't get home until, I don't think we get to the Stott Center until about 9 or 10 o'clock on Sunday. It is absolutely brutal. So we're hoping to get through this with a win or two. And really hoping to come back home. As Mike said, we have 6 of our last 8 games at home. We're looking forward to that. But looking forward to Northern Colorado. They've always been real tough on the road. But we worked in practice. I just came from it on really extending our offense. Allie Brock has taken a little bit of a load. Unfortunately, when Angela was in the game, it took a lot of attention away from she garnered a lot of attention, and that kept Allie open a lot, and we had a lot of scoring from Allie, and now, that obviously that loss is really hurting us. So we're doing some major adjustments that I think the girls, more practices that we have, the more that we're doing better with it. So looking forward to it. We just got to keep our heads up, not get frustrated, and, every day I tell them, I said every day is a growth opportunity, and you got to go in with a positive attitude to grow. You can't get your head down with any type of loss, and I think we're responding, and I'm really hoping that happens this weekend. Any questions that you all have? Anybody want to go on this road trip with us? I mean, it's just, yeah.
I can relate to you when you talk about the smell going to Greeley, because I lived there for a while.
Yeah, it literally, our freshmen, it's always funny because you hear the bus. All of a sudden, you're hearing the bus. You'll hear this. What is that? And we know it's always a freshman because we just expect it. It's like, well, there we're in Greeley. So, yes, Terry.
I was going to say, why don't you talk a little bit about the parity? I mean, last week's a great example. You have Weber State, who hasn't won a conference game in 2.5 years, come down the last 5 seconds against Idaho State, and then Idaho State turns around and beats Montana State, who just beat first place North Dakota. I mean, it's a parity this year. Is really something.
Yeah, it's the best that I've seen it last year, and then it's repeated itself this year. I mean, it's just really any given night. I think it's difficult, and Sac State, who we beat at home, which was an amazing game. They were sweeping people, and then we beat them, and somebody else beat them, and then they stomped North Dakota, and North Dakota only had 1 loss when they played them. So it really is. Any given night is going to be a tough, and there's no pushover in this conference, especially on the road, and how the road beats you up a little bit. So it's a lot of, I think it's going to be a dogfight, to be honest with you, all the way down to the end. So, well, thank you for all your support. Looking forward to when we do come back home, and I think we have some really good crowds that David has talked about, some sellouts, and we're looking forward to that. And I know our girls are going to be ready to be back to you guys. And thanks again for the support against Sac State. I've seen our crowds, be pretty good crowds, but they were active in that game, and it made a difference for those girls. I mean, that comeback run and to beat them down the stretch, you guys were our 6th person off the bench, and that meant a lot to us, and we just got to keep that rolling for both Tyler's team, who's doing a wonderful job, and I hope tonight he has that same kind of action as we did the other night. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Sherri. We'll move on to men's basketball now, and the men's basketball team plays tonight against Eastern Washington, and it's a chance to win that damn cup. And if we win the game tonight, we've won the damn cup against Eastern Washington for the 3rd time in 4 years. But really, the most important thing is to win a Big Sky Conference game and move up in the standings. And this is the second of 4 at home. 4 games in 8 days, and our guys really need to. I know Tyler, I heard him talk to the team right after the game the other night, after the win, and he said, you got to get rest, you got to get fluids. We come right back tomorrow and practice, and they had to practice yesterday, and they play again today, and on it goes with 2 more games later this week. And they play first place Northern Colorado on Thursday, third place North Dakota on Saturday. So even though we're at home, and that's great, and it increases your odds of winning, that's just how tough a schedule they have right now, playing all these games packed together. So it's going to be a real challenge this week. It'll be a real exciting challenge. Tonight, Eastern Washington comes in. They're also 3-4 in conference play. The 2 teams tied for 7th place. Whoever wins this game tonight moves up to 5th. And, I mean, that's significant. You move up to 5th, and then we get a chance to play 2 teams ahead of us later in the week. The Vikings can really do some good things. And if you saw the game the other night against Southern Utah comes in, they're in last place in the conference. You think, oh, well, they're last place team. Let's go out there and we're going to get a win, which we did. But as you saw, incredibly tough game to play. And the best way I can describe Big Sky Conference play, it doesn't matter who you're playing. In the last 5 games that Portland State has played, in 4 of those games, neither team has led by more than 8 points at any point in the game. And that's just how close the game is all night long. And that's really pretty remarkable, that whether you're first place, last place, somewhere in the middle, that all the games are that tight and that close, and how important 1 or 2 possessions make. You know, the other night, Tyler went with 5 guards in the last couple minutes of the game, and those 5 guards forced some turnovers. Tim Douglas drew a charging foul. They hit some 3-pointers. You know, Tim Douglas took a big guy straight to the rim and laid it in. Gary Winston took a big guy straight to the rim and laid it in. They spread them out, and they did some different things, but it just tells you how important 1 or 2 possessions are. When we win by 1 possession, a Marcus Hall 3-pointer, we win by 3 points against the last place team. So it's a remarkably competitive conference. The games are truly, truly exciting. There should be a great crowd. They have a big student event going tonight, so hopefully the students will be there in force and make a lot of noise. So to hear how we're going to do it against a team, a little bigger team tonight, and they got some talent in the post, Eastern Washington does, and we'll find out how Tyler's going to get it done. So let's hear from Tyler Geving.
Let's see, my heart's still racing from, I think I'm going to have a heart attack one of these days. If you guys see me drop dead on the sidelines, it'd be nice to win one of these games by, like 8 or 10 or 12 or 14, but we definitely find a way to make it interesting. So, not to beat a dead horse, but Mike's right. Our league is just competitive as all gets, just like Sherri's. I mean, here's Southern Utah 0-8 in league. Last week they go to Weber State and they're up 8 with 7 minutes to go in the game. So, just when you think you're going to get an easy one, you definitely don't. So tonight's going to be a big-time challenge for us. Eastern Washington's starting 5 is very talented. You'll find out they don't sub much. They kind of play their top 5 40 minutes, 38, 37, 36, and don't sub a lot. So they have the leading scorer in the league, number 1, the lefty, Tyler Harvey, you'll see tonight, and there's not a shot he doesn't like. So that's obviously a big part of what we're trying to do tonight. We've got to be able to slow him down because he's open from the minute he walks into the gym. He's a very talented scorer. So we're going to have our hands full there tonight with him. And then they have a 6'8" kid, Venky Joyce from Australia, who is averaging almost a double-double. He's averaging about 18 and 9, something like that. But so that creates a little problems with us without Aaron Moore now, and we've kind of gone a little bit smaller. It's going to be a big chore for Marcus Hall tonight at 6'4" to kind of guard this 6'8" guy. Now the good thing is this kid likes to kind of play on the perimeter a little bit more than he likes to post up, so I think that'll help us. But those are kind of the 2 keys for us tonight. Can we kind of contain number 1, not allow him to get his 20-some points? He had 36 the other night against Southern Utah, so we're really going to have to do a good job of kind of controlling his touches and really getting to them on on the shot and contesting shots. And then the other part is just trying to slow down Vanky Joyce as much as we can too. So, defensively, really happy with what we did the other night. We tell the kids, every night you're not going to be great offensively. It's hard to, you just have those nights, some nights where you just can't make shots or things aren't going the way you want them to do. But you can play defense every single night. You can play with energy and you can play with effort every single night. And we didn't score our first basket into the game until 7 minutes into the game. And I looked up and it was like 13:02 and we finally scored and the score was 6-4. So, like I told our guys, I said that those games happen where you just can't score or whatever, but I thought our defense kind of really kept us in the game in the first half, and I was really proud of the kids' effort on that. And we need the same challenge tonight. They like to take quick shots. They're very aggressive in transition. So the more we can kind of grind them out on the defensive end 20 seconds into the shot clock, I think it's better for us because I think they might get a little impatient and shoot some tough shots. So once again, going into the game, it's all about our defensive effort and what we can do against Eastern. And then, as Mike said, later in the week we got a long week, tough week. It's doesn't get any easier on Thursday. Northern Colorado's a talented team. They're in first place, and North Dakota is 5-3 and third, and had some good wins. So it's going to be a good test for our kids, and we've talked about embracing the challenge, and this is why you play, and this should be fun. It's go out and obviously had a good crowd the other night in the student section. Our kids talked about that, and it was nice I think they had a few chants going on. I didn't quite hear them all, but obviously heard a little ruckus over there, which was good. So if we can continue to build on that. So, but that's like going back to what I was saying about the week and 4 games in 8 days. We've just really tried to tell our kids embrace the challenge, and this is why you play college basketball. This is the fun part. So, over the last 3 weeks, we've really enjoyed coaching this team. They're a fun group to be around. They're good kids. They're working hard. As you can see, we're not very tall. And the other night, as Mike said at the end of the game, if you watched, we were kind of getting beat off their ball screen stuff, and we were just getting exploited, and we just said, let's just go with 5 guards. And Marcus Hall is unbelievable. I think here's a kid that really got recruited to play kind of a guard position, and now we're playing him at the 4. The other night we had him in at the 5 at the end of the game, and as I told the team afterwards, I said, you guys got to understand something. What a lot of people don't recognize is Marcus Hall hasn't complained once all year about what position he's playing, how many shots he's getting, why do I have to guard these bigger guys? And you can get that a lot where guys are like, well, that's not my position. Why do I have to play that? And to have a guy like that doesn't complain and actually relishes the challenge of, guarding a guy like this tonight that's 6'8". So, to have guys buying into as we talk about, it's about the team. What's best for the team, not what's best for you as a person. And Marcus really exemplifies that to our team. And to have a guy like that, he does so much out on the court that just doesn't even get noticed. So, but he's going to have to be big again tonight for us. So.
You talked a lot about Marcus. What about DCAT? I mean, what are you going to do to get him to toughen it up? Use him to also spell Marcus.
Yeah, you know what, Brandon. The other night he had 6.6 rebounds. He's come in. Yeah, he had a steal, and Brandon. It's great. We always talk about it. Everybody, I bet you everybody in this room says, well, if you just do this for Brandon, he'll be a little bit better. Or if I get a hold of Brandon, we always joke. We go, Brandon has 19 coaches at practice. It's unbelievable. Come on, Brandon, you got to do this, Brandon. But the best part about it is everybody wants to see him do well, just like you do and we do as well. And he's done some good things this year. He's impacted the game in a lot of ways. The hard part with him at times is that doesn't show up in a box score is he gets exploited a little bit on the defensive end. Just sometimes he's just a step slow to react, or you can see his mind working, and then it's like, okay, now I'm going to go. Well, it's too late. And as much as he gives us sometimes he can be detrimental on the defensive end a little bit. But there's also games where, like the other night, he's getting those tip backs, and he's against Montana. He had that big play to tie the game up on an offensive rebound, and when you put a 6'11" guy in there, everybody kind of has to know who he is. So, and he's getting better. He's getting better, and I agree. I think we all want more out of him. That's for sure.
Is it my imagination as usual, or did I see someplace that one of those kids that's been sitting on the bench that gets some playing?
Yeah, Bamba, Tigby Bamba, the kid with the Achilles. He's actually practiced a little bit last week. He's practiced a little bit this week. I would say he's probably 80% right now, not quite to where we think we could put him in a game and be effective. We're trying to work him into practice a little bit more and trying to get him through more reps and more understanding. But I'd like to think maybe in the next couple of weeks that, because he doesn't have a redshirt year, so if he did, we'd probably just redshirt him at this point. But he's pretty close to, I think, to getting back out there. And obviously, if you look at him, he's 6'6" and chiseled, and I mean, he's a man, and he's done some good things in practice. And if we could just get 10 minutes out of him, down the stretch, boy, that would be huge for us. Because right now, when we take Marcus out, we put Alex Foster in, who's another kid that, unbelievable. He's a walk-on and doesn't complain, and we got him guarding bigger guys, and he knows his role and buys into the team concept. But it would be nice to have one more guy could give us a little meat inside.
You mentioned, encouraging the kids to get some rest and stuff. You talk to somebody like a Marcus Aldridge, he said when they have back-to-backs, he's normal, and he needs 10 to 12 hours of sleep just to recover. And you can't always get that on back-to-back. Do you have problems with the kids recognizing that they just need the rest and need to sleep?
Yeah, I mean, you just, like I told them the other night, it's Saturday night. So it's, they're 18 to 22-year-olds, and you try and educate them on, here's what you need to do. You need to go home, go to bed. You need to get a good night's sleep. You need to get, water in you and Gatorade, fluids. But I don't know. I mean, 18 to 22-year-olds, you don't know what they're going to do half the time. I mean, that's the.
You're not talking a minute.
No, you're definitely not. And when you're it's a little easier when you're on the road, obviously. You got more control of them. But when you send 15 kids out that door, I mean, it's nothing like your livelihood dependent on those guys at times. So the choices they're going to make. But we have, they're good kids, and I think that they realize what it's important to them, and that's if it's important to you, then you're going to do these things. So because it is a big week, it's not only physically, but mentally as well, getting prepared for it. So
We're going to go get rest this afternoon.
yeah, go get your afternoon nap in, and yeah, that sounds. I might even get a workout. I did bring Jim Wallace down with us. Jim, stand up, please. Jim doesn't always get the recognition that he should, but Jim's obviously been a great athletic trainer for us. And, him and I have had our battles, but I'm probably just like any other head coach that, when guys get hurt, you're like, come on, Jim, just tape it up. Can't you just give him a quick shot or something? We can get him out there. But as far as knowing his the business and injuries and dealing with our players, Jim's phenomenal, and great to have him on staff. He's great to travel with, and been a big part of our program. And obviously he's done a great job with Bamba, trying to get him back to where he needs to be. And so it's good to have someone that's on your side in that position. Yeah.
Is it just me, or has Zach's production fallen off?
Yeah, a little bit. Zach's going to be really good. I think he's going to be a really good player. I think what happens, and Sherri would probably attest to this as well, it's a long year for freshmen. It's very hard to, we started September 15th and we don't play till November 15th. Well, in high school, you start middle of November and you practice 2 weeks and you got a game. And, by the time we started games, he's probably halfway through a high school basketball season. And I think what freshmen don't understand sometimes is when you come in, the demands of, okay, now he's living in the dorms, what's he doing at night? Is he having a good time or is he getting his sleep? And now school's probably a little bit harder. Practice, you have to go hard every single day. High school, you can show up to practice and go through the motions and you're going to play 32 minutes a night. And I think that's just kind of getting him those habits and of being consistent of I have to do this every single day. I have to go hard every single day. And then it's probably the first time for freshmen that, hey, all of a sudden I was the guy in high school averaging 20-some a game, and now I'm the guy coming off the bench. And and it messes with you mentally of, hey, what is my role? When I get into the game, I used to be the guy. Now I'm not the guy. And I think down the road he's going to be that player. There's no doubt about it. But, he's also got Gary Winston and Andre Winston and Tim Douglas and Deshaun Wiggins. And those guys are 22 years old. He's 18 years old. And it's a big difference. And, we constantly remind him how much we like him, how much of a good player he is, because he is going to be a good player for us. It's just you get into the season, and I think it becomes more mental and really the physical wear and tear of bringing it every single day as opposed to high school. But he'll be fine. All right, look forward to seeing everyone tonight. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Tyler. It's going to be a close game tonight. It's going to be a close game on Thursday night. It's going to be a close game on Saturday night. So that'll be exciting. So I'll leave you with this one stat. Close games this year, Portland State is 5-2.